festival shows, radio shows. So Godsmack back in action in a big way. And also, interestingly, it does not include a couple longtime Godsmack members because, as you know, the band had a lineup change the last time they went out on the road. And Tony Rambola left the band and Shannon Larkin left the band, both to retire. They were replaced, and the band continues on. And Sully also, which I want to ask him about, a couple years ago had made a comment about, I think it was not making records anymore, that he was going to not make any more studio albums. There was some sort of semi-farewell thing to what he was talking about at the time, and I never believed that, as I don't believe anybody, nor should you, with any kind of farewell. It's proven literally every day. I have an example of it. But I think Sully, the interesting one, I think Sully had talked about not making records anymore, which I thought was interesting given that he is the songwriter in Godsmack and that he is pretty prolific from what I know and also does some solo records as well. So we'll get into all that with him. One of the things that I really love about what Sully has been doing to promote this tour, which is called the Rise of Rock Tour. If you've seen his own social media posts, video, etc., he has been emphasizing the fact that all of the three bands that are on this bill, Godsmack, Stone Temple Pilots, and Dorothy, all are totally live bands. And my gosh, do we need more artists out there waving that flag? More, if people want to save live rock and roll, somebody else better care besides just me. And I've been screaming about it forever. It's only getting worse. But until some fans step up, until promoters care, until other artists wave the flag like Sully's been doing, and others, there's been a few. My gosh, that was an amazingly awesome thing to hear, that Sully kind of had that mandate when he put this tour together. If more artists did that, people would change and we'd actually have more live real rock shows. So Sully joining us at the bottom of the hour. We'll get into all of this with him at that time. A lot of news on this Thursday. Of course, tomorrow, nothing but your calls on a free-for-all Friday. After we're done speaking with Sully, which should be around 4 o'clock Eastern, we have about 20, 30 minutes with him today. We will then turn to you guys on the phones and get a jump on Free For All Friday, which closes the week tomorrow, 844-686-5863, as usual, for your phone calls. Social media, at Eddie Trunk, X, Instagram, Facebook page, YouTube. And there is also the show accounts, which are at Trunk Nation SXM. You'll find those on X, Instagram, and now on TikTok. All right, so jumping right in on the news. Let me dive through all this. There was news that was making the rounds yesterday, shortly after I got off the air, about the official announcement of the second Kiss Cruise Landlocked in Vegas event. If you recall, last year, Kiss did an event here in Vegas, which has also kind of become like their second home. There's a Kiss museum here. They have done residencies here. They are talking about their Avatar show being based here. And now for the second year in a row, a Kiss Vegas event. If you recall last year, the Kiss event was originally billed as an event for the Kiss Army. It was then retooled using the Kiss Cruise branding, and they called it Kiss Cruise on Land, basically. They did it at the Virgin Hotel and Resort, which is off the Strip here in Vegas, formerly the Hard Rock, and they will do it all again this year. It's very similar to last year. There are 80s-based acts on the bill filling out the weekend. There will be 2 performances from Kiss without makeup. There will be all-inclusive packages where you get 3 nights at the hotel, whatever it costs to get in, various Kiss-related activities. So they're doing it again. What's interesting here, as I mentioned yesterday, is when they did this yesterday, Paul Stanley made a quote or a comment from the stage saying, how about we go back on a ship next year? And everybody applauded, meaning they would bring their actual crews back. Well, clearly that is not happening because they have once again decided to do a casino-based weekend event. Again, same place at the Virgin in Vegas. The dates, November 13 through 15. Some of the acts besides the Unmasked Kiss playing include Night Ranger, Slaughter, Faster Pussycat, and Bruce Kulick once again with a solo set. Also notably in the advertising for this, an Ace Frehley tribute set featuring members of Kiss themselves and also featuring surprise guests. So this is all again happening in mid-November, same location as last year's in Vegas. The last thing on this, which is kind of interesting, which I found out through some industry sources yesterday, is this was not supposed to be announced yesterday, and that it was leaked. And it may have even been leaked by accident by Gene Simmons himself, who posted prematurely the information on his social media. The official announcement for this entire event is not planned until next week. So you can expect a whole nother wave of press release, an official press release coming for this next week, pretending like it already hasn't been announced because it was leaked prematurely. Welcome to the world of the internet. The Ramones' debut album, an iconic, influential album, certainly in the world of punk rock, is celebrating its 50th anniversary. There's going to be a bunch of activities around the 50th anniversary of the debut album from the Ramones, who sadly most of the members have passed away. I believe all the members from the original record have actually passed away. Don't quote me on that, but I think. Anyway, the Ramones, obviously iconic in every way. 50 years, huge celebratory activities happening the entire year, including a reissue of the debut album. And also, starting on July 4th, again here in Vegas, there is a punk rock museum here in Vegas. I've not gone to it yet. I'd like to. Admittedly, I'm not a huge punk guy, but I love rock music. I love learning about it, even if it's not my personal favorite genre of it or offshoot of it. So I definitely plan to check this museum out. And the Ramones will basically be taking this thing over in July for a while here in Vegas, where they will celebrate the history of the band by dedicating the museum basically to them, which is very fitting. So a lot of Ramones activity. Once I get over to that museum and learn a little bit more, I will certainly share that with you. Armored Saint preparing a new album. We've talked about it. It's called Emotion Factory Reset. It's coming out on May 22nd. We'll have John and/or Joey on with us when we get closer to the actual album release, as is the norm for most acts in today's music industry. Multiple songs released in advance of the album. Hit a Moonshot is the name of the new track that was released today from Armored Saint. What else do I have for you? Let's see. There's a Rainbow tribute album coming out. It's called Ride the Rainbow. And today, a new version of the Rainbow classic Long Live Rock and Roll was released, featuring Graham Bonnet on vocals. The Rainbow tribute is coming out on June 19th. Some of the other guests making appearances and contributions to the album include Jolyn Turner, who of course was in Rainbow, like Graham Bonnet was. Also, Bob Daisley, a big contributor to Rainbow at one point around that period. Steve Morse, who was one of the replacements for Ritchie Blackmore in Deep Purple. Don Airey, who played in Rainbow and is currently in Deep Purple. So there's a lot of crossover here. Sebastian Bach, George Lynch. Interestingly, Jonathan Cain of Journey. Some great players and some great names attached to this. Again, coming out on June 19th. Track from it released already. Speaking of Jonathan Cain, yesterday we talked about, I was mentioning that Journey were playing a show in Vegas, a special show for the anniversary of a casino. And Joel had said that he thought it happened already. Turned out it did not. It's next Wednesday at a resort called Red Rocks, which is in a part of town called Summerlin. And I reached out to Neil Sean when I found out that the show did not happen yet to see if he'd like to come in and come on the air when he is in town. Told me he's got a lot going on around that show, but if he was able to, he would do it and he would let me know. So fingers crossed that happens. No promises. We'll see. But they are playing, and I'm going to try to make it next Wednesday. So that just reminded me when I said Jonathan Cain about that. Also, speaking of Rainbow, Ritchie Blackmore, who has been tremendously reclusive for the most part in the later years of his life, has now done a couple interviews. He did a few days ago an interview. Well, it was his birthday. I think he turned 80 or 81. And his wife put up, I don't know, with their phone or iPad, a video and just basically did a live chat with fans with him. I watched about 10 minutes of it earlier on YouTube. Richie's a very reserved guy and can be a little bit, kind of, he's not an animated guy. We'll leave it at that. But when it first started, well, just watching the video, there were times it didn't seem like he was too thrilled to be doing it. Now, maybe he got a little more engaged as it went on. I don't know. She was basically reading him all the countries that were wishing him a happy birthday. And then she read one of the questions, and they said, will there ever be another Rainbow tour? He did not answer. There was a question about one of his guitars. He did answer that. Again, I only watched about 5-10 minutes of it. But, in his older age, Ritchie Blackmore at least trying to engage a little bit more with media. So I don't know what that means or where that's leading, if he's going to do something more. I mean, he's been totally committed to the Renaissance music, which, again, doesn't have much of a connection to the rock world, but we'll see. It's just kind of interesting that now he's starting to do some stuff where he has been legendarily reclusive, especially from doing interviews. Somebody told me, I think Mark Striegel over on Boneyard did an interview with him, which I've not heard. Known Mark forever. Mark used to be a producer on that metal show, by the way. So good on Mark if he got that. As I told you guys in the past, anytime I've wanted to do interviews with Blackmore over the decades, there were always conditions which weren't going to work for me, like you can't talk about Rainbow or Purple. I don't think anybody could possibly do an interview and do that. And I don't know if that's still the condition. So anyway, interesting what's going on with Blackmore, who is one of the true icons when it comes to guitar playing. Want to give a mention to this. When I was on the Monsters of Rock cruise, I had a chance to spend a few minutes talking to Russell Allen. Russell is a fantastic singer. His band that he was on the cruise with was Symphony X. We were talking about it. Symphony X is more of a progressive leaning band, but they kind of get slotted in on a lot of different things. And Russell's also a singer in Trans-Siberian Orchestra. At one point was in Adrenaline Mob. So Russell's a great dude. I've known him for a long time. And he, this morning, sent me a song that he wanted me to mention. He has an autistic daughter, and he did a song in tribute to her called Love Her Like I Do. It is an acoustic ballad. Phenomenal vocal from Russell. So I wanted to let you know that was out there. April is Autism Awareness Month, so he did it in conjunction with that. And I thought it was great what he did, and I thought he was great what he did with the song in tribute to his daughter, Ava. And Russell may join us for a few minutes to talk about this next week. I told him I'd try to find a window for him to join us. By the way, next week, what day does the 27th fall on, Joel? Tuesday or Monday?
Monday.
Okay, so you already know then. I can tell you right now, Monday show, April 27th, is the birthday of Ace Frehley. As already discussed, we will be doing an Ace show dedicated to Ace on Monday. Don't know what we're going to do. We can either just keep it loose, take your calls, your memories, your favorite songs, your favorite solos, whatever. But being that this is the first birthday since Ace has passed, we are definitely going to remember him and celebrate him on Monday. Can think about, or if you guys have suggestions on if there's some way you want to frame it, if you want to just keep it open, stories, memories, whatever, that's all good. I'm actually kind of okay with that versus doing some sort of countdown or ranking, but we'll see. Well, you guys can do what you want with it to remember Ace on Monday. As usual, there are a bunch of concerts being announced for the summer concert season. As usual, Live Nation is doing one of their promotions right now where you can, for $30, buy tickets to over 4,000 shows. Joel, I saw you had a note on this. What are the specifics on this year?
Let me pull it up, but I know the big ones do include Iron Maiden. So that was one of the things to note to see if that promotion applies to you, where if Iron Maiden's coming through your neighborhood.
So basically, discounted tickets for, I'm assuming, a limited time. For the prices, for these charges, $30 or whatever, you're going to be way in the back. If it's an amphitheater, you're going to be on the lawn. You know that already. But it gets you in the building. Once you're in the building, they might offer you an upgrade deal. As I've talked about so often, there are a ton of concerts now. Tons of them do not sell out. A lot of them are in venues that are way too big for the draw of the band. But the business model... Sure, they want to sell tickets for as much as they can, but they also just want people in the building because an empty seat generates zero money. Somebody sitting in a seat, even if they didn't pay for the ticket or only paid $20 for the ticket, generates money. Food, drink, parking, t-shirts, merch, etc. An empty seat doesn't generate any of that. So that is really the philosophy behind this, or even just giving tickets away. And it's been going on for a long time. And it's actually one of the things that's at the core, and we know that Live Nation has been in the news quite a bit lately, not for good reasons. And it is one of the things that's at the core of that problem, because when you're the same company that owns the venue, the ticketing company, and the promoting arm, you see how this works. It's all this, the money's all going to the same company. If those were three separate companies, you couldn't really do this, because the company that owns the food and beverage be like, well, wait a minute, the promoter's not partaking in that. The promoter would be like, why would I give tickets away if I'm not getting a piece of that? So you see how if it is, there are pros and cons to if it is all under the same umbrella. But anyway, check your local listings. There still could be some good deals to be had there. It's still the best deal if you just wait it out. I am like a total Swami here predicting the future, because it didn't take much to anticipate this. If you listened to yesterday's show when we talked about Slayer playing these Rain and Blood anniversary shows, I said I would fully expect that they add a show or two to the run at the Forum in LA. Said it on yesterday's show, and today it happened because Slayer has indeed added a second show at the Forum. This one now on November 14th. So they will be playing on November 13th and 14th at the Forum. I would not be surprised if at least a third one is added. The first one sold out on pre-sale alone. Slayer mastering the art form of less is more. And again, astonishing when you consider this is a band that has nothing even close to a radio song. Selling out multiple nights in an arena more than 40 years after they started their career, still to this day with zero mainstream commercial airplay. In addition to these now 3 shows, Slayer also playing Rocklahoma this year. Black Veil Brides with a new song released today. Rob Flynn is the guest on it. Rob Flynn, of course, from the band Machine Head. Korn has released a new song today from a video game. Joel, are you into gaming?
No, I'm not. So this is actually new to me also. You know, when I saw the news, I was like, oh, I didn't know about this because I'm not a gamer.
Yeah, something called Diablo 4. The song is called, I believe, Reward the Scars was what I wrote down, right? Do I have the title right?
Yes, you have the title right.
Yeah, so there's a new Korn song today. Korn playing this weekend here in Vegas on that Sick New World show, which we talked about, along with System of a Down. Unfortunately, I am not going to be in town, but if you are or coming here, enjoy. And in our daily No Band Ever Ends segment, Lynch Mob have released a bunch more concerts for January. Talking about getting out ahead of it. We are in mid-April, and George Lynch announcing a run of shows for January today. These are interesting shows that George is doing. They are under his own name, and he will be playing all Dokken songs for the most part. And if you know anything about George, he's very transparent about the fact that his band is a bit of a revolving door, and he'll just pick up anybody or work with anybody on any given moment that works for him as far as playing live shows. This one, he will have 3 different singers. Young guy by the name of Brett Carlisle, who currently sings in Great White. Terry Luce from the band XYZ, who also at one point was in Great White. And the main singer that George has used, Gabriel is his name, that he's used most recently for Lynch Mob. So all 3 of those, I don't know if they're rotating on the same show or if it's just they're going to slot in depending upon where the date is. The rest of the band is the same band he's currently using for Lynch Mob now. And most of these dates are all in the South, a lot of them in Florida. More, I think, no doubt will be added. But I think it's great that George is going to go out and do an all-Dokken set because, as we all know, George has gotten up and done a few songs with Dokken at the end of the show now for a while, like a 3-4 song set to close the show, kind of like a guest appearance thing. But also, as we all know, if we are being honest, Don Dokken has struggled greatly with his health, his vocals, etc. It's been a talking point for a very, very long time. So having some of these different younger singers singing the Dokken stuff might not be a bad idea. And I saw George. George was on the Monsters of Rock cruise. He was kind of hanging out. Lynch Mob did not play. He also did comedy with a comedy show that I've talked about before called Punchlines and Backlines that Don and Courtney and Izzy and Jim all did, and they bring in these artists, musicians who don't do comedy. and have them do it. And that in and of itself can be funny. So George did that on the cruise. I did not see him do it. Again, you guys, on that cruise, there's a lot of things I do not see because there's such a volume of stuff and I'm on a schedule. But I did talk to George. I ran into him in the hallway and we talked for a minute. So probably due to have him on at some point in the future as well. So again, I think we're going to get real busy with guests coming off the cruise. We had tons of guests, and I expect that to ramp up again soon because now that we're in late April, we're really starting to get ramped up with the touring season just around the corner. And that's one of the things that Sully's coming on today to talk about, which, of course, is this big Godsmack tour. So we're going to get into that with him here in a second. Joel, anything you want to add?
So we can now add David Lee Roth to the list of artists who have sold their catalog. He appeared at Coachella last weekend, and AP caught up with him and just did a quick interview. And while he didn't reveal details, he did say that his catalog has been sold and he's feeling rich. So we might see some of his music popping up in commercials, movies, etc. As you know, these things tend to happen after artists sell their catalog. Also, we're going to wish happy birthday today to Brent Muscat of Faster Pussycat. And we were just talking yesterday about Greta Van Fleet. Jake and Josh Kiska turned 30 today.
And wait, are they twins?
I guess so.
I didn't know they were twins. It's interesting. Oh my gosh, those guys were in the studio. Well, it wouldn't have been Jake or Josh then if they were 30. So about 10 years ago, they were in studio with me. And one of the guys in Greta Van Fleet at the time just graduated high school. So they would have been around 20 at the time. I have the photo. But I remember clearly one of the guys, it might have been Danny, I don't know, was just out of high school. He was like 17, 18. It's crazy. Here we are, like, you know, these guys are now in their 30s. Just crazy. And Brent Muscat is the original but former guitar player in Faster Pussycat. He lives here in Vegas. Haven't seen him in a while, but he's lived here for a long time. All right, thank you for that, Joel. So let's get to a break, and if the timing all works out, when we come back from the break, we'll be joined by Sully Erna, spend a little time speaking with him, and stand by if you want to jump in on the phones, you guys, because we will get a jump start on Free For All Friday with your calls about anything in rock after the interview, so we'll open the phones when we finish up with Sully, but he should join us right after the break. We'll be back with that on Trunk Nation next.
Bonfire with Big J. Okerson and Robert Kelly.
There's a place called Yum Yum's, the best donut ever. I went there, the lady had one left, and then she knocks it over with her stomach onto the floor. And I went, I'll take it. What? She goes, it fell on the donut floor. I don't care. I want that donut.
You called it a donut floor. That's not a thing.
It's all perspective.
In your mind, the whole place is essentially donut.
I don't
Because
care.
I pulled it out of the toilet. The donut toilet.
The Bonfire. Weeknights at 5 p.m. Eastern on Faction Talk or anytime on the SiriusXM app.
Hey, it's Mike Dern.
It is I, Trey Cool.
I'm Billy Joe from Green Day, and we built an entire channel for you.
Don't wanna be an American idiot.
Idiot Nation.
Punk rock from our point of view. Part history, part discovery, part live. And a whole lot of us. Our channel, Idiot Nation, just arrived.
Channel 314 on most radios and wherever you stream with the SiriusXM app, included with most subscriptions.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband Ryan died. He was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had the foresight to get life insurance. Because we had the 2 small children, he decided it was important to get it to make sure that we would have enough in case anything ever happened. The bills were covered, the mortgage was paid, so I could focus on my kids. With Ethos, getting life insurance is fast, affordable, and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exam, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. We truly don't know how much time we have. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the time and the space we needed to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/quote. That's ethos.com/quote. Ethos.com/quote. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Looking for a little extra fun? Chumba Casino lets you play for free with daily login rewards and a cheeky little welcome bonus when you sign up. Explore hundreds of online social casino games and jump in whenever it works for you. No routines, no pressure, just entertainment on your terms. That's Chumba. Only available in permitted states. No purchase necessary. See terms and conditions for details. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21+.
Donate your car and help support Tunnel the Towers. The process is quick and simple, and the proceeds from your generous car donation will go to support the good work that T2T is doing throughout our community. Any car is accepted, running or not, and we will pick it up for free. So if you have an extra car and you want to help T2T to help our first responders and our dedicated veterans, simply call T2T at 844-BRAVEUS. Avoid the hassle of trying to sell that old car. Instead, donate it and help Tunnel the Towers. That number again to donate your car and support Tunnel the Towers is 844-BRAVEUS. That's 844-BRAVEUS. Or simply donate your car online at todaysveterans.org. Your car donation really does make a difference. So call Tunnel the Towers today at 844-BRAVEUS.
Do you need emergency cash now? Then you need WeFixMoney.com. WeFixMoney.com can help you get up to $5,000 fast. If you need cash for bills, car repairs, rent, a vacation, or anything else, type WeFixMoney.com directly in your browser. WeFixMoney.com is free to use, available 24/7, and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Millions of Americans have trusted WeFixMoney.com. Go to the site that you can trust, WeFixMoney.com. That's WeFixMoney.com.
Back to Trunk Nation.
Dedicated celebration of rock.
Amen to that. With host Eddie Trunk.
The new David Lee Roth.
Sirius XM Faction Talk.
All right, we don't have Sully yet, but we should have him joining us any minute. As soon as we do, we will go to him. As we are hanging with you guys, as always, talking rock music here on Trunk Nation, Faction Talk 103. Live daily, 3 to 5 Eastern, noon to 2 Pacific, anytime live or on demand using the Sirius XM app. While we wait for Sully, we'll grab a few phone calls here, and Bob in Michigan has been on the line waiting for a bit, so let's get Bob in here real quick and see what's on his mind. What's going on, Bob?
Hey, Eddie, how you doing today?
Good, man.
Good. Hey, I called you a couple times before the last time I think we talked was about the D.O. bucket and trying to get Diary of a Madman smuggled in there somehow in the D.O. bucket. But the reason why I'm calling today is my wife and I went to see Triumph in the Sioux last night.
Was that the actual start of the tour after those two Florida shows?
Yes. So I think this was the original start, and then the two Florida shows were added. But yeah, so this was show number 3 out of 27, and I don't know if I haven't caught your shows recently, but Mike Levine was unable to be there last night. Apparently, he has some head issues or something.
Well, he's not played any of the 3 shows. He didn't do the 2 in Florida either. What were your thoughts overall on the show?
Well, I thought the band was excellent. And I thought the usage of 2 guitars was very well done. Obviously, Rick can still play. There's no doubt about that. Gil, he's just a drumming machine. I think he's found the fountain of youth or something. I couldn't believe that cat was 78 years old. And we did the meet and greet with them, and I know that you've talked about that, and I don't know if you can expound upon that, how much time you have, whatever, but ours was about 30 seconds. It was like, hey, thanks a lot for all the great songs you did. Really meant a lot to me. It's super that you guys are out here on tour now. Just fantastic. Love you. And a couple pictures that were done by a professional photographer that we're going to, get sent to us or whatever. And that was pretty much it.
So overall, though, as far as the concert, you had made made a comment about Rick still being able to play, but were there things that vocally were not where you wanted him to be? I mean,
no, vocally he was fantastic. Gil only sang a couple tunes. A lot of the traditional Gil songs were done by other members of the band last night, at least. And those guys are obviously, top-notch players and singers and everything else. The show was really good, and you did not walk away thinking that you saw smooth, easy drinking Triumph Light. You saw exactly what Triumph did.
Here's the thing, Bob, and I'm glad we're getting into this a little bit because obviously, I love all these guys. I know all these guys. Literally everybody on that stage last night are friends and have been on this show. And Fitz and Kearns are part of our Canadian stuff that we do all the time. I've done a lot with Triumph. The criticism, if there is one, is it really Triumph? Because to the point that Triumph themselves on their website have had to put on the website, this is not a Triumph tribute. Because the feeling is that, when you take a trio, you pull one guy out and you add three, is it really the same thing anymore? Did you feel that? Did you feel like you saw Triumph?
No, I did. Now, and I saw them in 1984. Obviously, that was a couple days ago. But I saw them at the Great American Rock Festival, and I saw them on the Thunder 7 tour. They did 3 shows in all of 1984, and I was fortunate enough to see them on 2.
All right, hey Bob, I'm gonna cut you off there because I got Sully. I got to go to my interview. But thank you for
a great day, Eddie. Thanks.
Thanks for the report there, buddy. All right, there's Sully checking in from what was really the opening night of the Triumph Reunion Tour. We can get more into that at another time. But right now, we are going to get into talking some Godsmack and talking with Sully Erna, who joins us live right now. What's going on, brother, man?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, man. How's things?
Everything's great. No complaints.
Well, you got a busy year ahead of you here, about to kick off with all this touring and everything. So let's just jump right into it, man. Live at Mohegan Sun, the live album coming out on May 1st. People talk all the time about live records and, they're kind of throwaways. Nobody cares about them anymore, whatever. I come from an era where the live album was like major and majorly important and all of that. And I'm really glad when artists still do live records. Tell me about the idea of doing a live album at this point.
Well, it's exactly that, Eddie. It's something that I grew up with, you grew up with. Like part of my musical history and memories, and some of my best memories are from listening, learning, studying these double live albums, right? Ted Nugent's Double Live Gonzo, Exit Stage Left, Live Bootleg, Frampton Comes Alive. Like these are like these albums that are just a part of my history and my childhood. And, I think our job as artists today that come from that era is to try to keep that analog, put in your 10,000 hours as musicians, record all your vocals, let them be imperfect at times, get away from auto-tune, get away from tricks and clicks and computers and layers and samples and all this blah, blah, blah that, I just don't, it's not for rock and roll. I feel like rock and roll is rebellious. It's supposed to be dirty. It's not supposed to be perfect. Right. And I think the pop era kind of started morphing these younger generation kids into thinking that that's how you just write all music when the electronic stuff, came into play or whatever. So I think our responsibility is to continue to teach these younger kids too, what music was about and that whole experience when you take people through that musical journey. And those records did that for me. Like when I listen to Frampton Comes Alive, I feel like I'm there. And I still say till this day when I play my shows live, I'm like, listen, I don't care how good technology gets, you will never be able to replicate the energy from a live show through a computer screen. So it's the same concept with these albums. Like if you can't get there, or if you have gotten there and you remember that moment where you were just absorbing it all and like living in it, you want to take that home with you. Plus, the guys in the band were retiring. A couple of the guys in the band were calling it quits. They wanted to be home now. They're tired. They gave, I have no complaints. They gave me 30 years and we had a great career. And we wanted to honor that by capturing the last time those 4 members would be on stage together. So
I was going to ask you that, Sully. That's important. I wanted to ask you that because Tony and Shannon retired. We know that. So was that one of the catalysts for wanting to record and capture it, or were you planning to do that even before you knew they were going to retire?
No. We this whole conversation started coming up as we were recording the last record and knowing that this could be the last round, but it wasn't solidified yet, but it was like there was talks about it. And as we got deeper into the touring cycle, Shannon and Tony said, I think this is it. We started to book European dates in 25, and we were at the tail end of 24, and they were just like, we're going to finish out this album cycle like we promised. And then that's it. Like, they're like, I think, this is, we're not going to do this anymore. And when that happened, we started going, well, okay, it's, actually Dan Catullo is the one who approached us. He's a good friend of ours. He's done a lot of great live DVD. He did our DVD live, the Changes DVD. He did Rush and Rio, whatever. And he's always been there to capture our stuff. So he said, Sully, you got to get this. You have to document this last show. Like, this could be the last time we ever see the 4 original members standing on a stage together. And I'm like, yeah, we do. So we brought in 25 cameras. We brought in a full, audio truck. And we were able to capture the whole day. Not only just the live concert, but everything that went around it. Our families were there. Our kids were there. All of our friends showed up. We had a retirement party for Tony and Shannon. The whole history of Godsmack was under this one umbrella. And I think they just did such a phenomenal job at not only capturing the energy of the live show, but the sound of the live show, because you really feel like you're in this arena. But more importantly, the emotion of the show. We got it. We got it all. And I got to tell you, it's probably my most proud piece of product that we have now, because it means so much to the moment and paying homage to the career and everything we went through together. So yeah, it's a really special piece. And I think it's going to be everything the fans would ever want in an album and in a live show.
So this extra stuff that was shot, if people buy the video version, is there going to be kind of almost like a mini doc included in it as well? Will they see that, or is that for something different?
Well, so what we did is, when you press play, it starts the concert. But if you go to the bonus features, what we did is we put a 3-minute history of the band, so you can see from 1995 all the way to present, and a little kind of mini documentary there. And we also were able to film the party that we threw for Shannon and Tony, and the speeches and just the things that were said and how emotional that whole thing was. I mean, everyone in the room was crying. It was unbelievable. And even within the concert, you'll see as this concert starts winding up to the end, like I could feel it coming. Like we're encoring with "I Stand Alone," and as we're getting to the last few chords of the song, I'm like losing it. You can hear my voice crack, and I'm starting to get welled up. I just hugged Tony on stage, and we're not even done the song yet. We have this final chorus to go, and I'm like, oh my God, this is it. Like, this is it. There's like 15 seconds left in the song, and that's it. So it hit me pretty hard, and all those emotions translate and come through in this film. So, listen, I don't encourage people to buy, anything these days. Like, I think it's important people discover stuff. But this is one that if you've been a fan and you've taken this journey with us, this is some stuff that I think you should have in your collection, because it's very, it's just an important piece.
Yeah, well, I love that you're doing something like this, because I love the video component makes it even better. But I, like you, those live records are sacred. And I always looked at live records, even when I was a kid getting them, if I didn't know the band or I was trying to discover the band and they had a live record, I'd start there, because you'd always get a cross section of all the material. And then, of course, if I liked it, then I dig into the studio records. So who knows, 30 years down the line, Live at Mohegan Sun could be the spark that gets somebody into Godsmack. There's that too.
Yeah. True. And you know what, too, to pay, to honor the greats that have paved the way in those albums that they gave us that we just loved as kids and played them over and over and over again. I felt like I really took my time with the packaging on this. Not only did I even make the album cover look a little bit, you know how like after a while the albums get faded looking, you could look at like Let There Be Rock or whatever, and it's just from the sun hitting it and whatever over the years it has. So we even did that. We kind of set it up to feel like this old 70s rock album and loaded it with like this is not a live album, a double live album from a bunch of different shows. This is the show at Mohegan Sun, raw, unedited. I mean, we had to trim a little bit because it was long and you can only fit so much on 2 pieces of vinyl, but unedited and just packed with like all the great moments on stage, before going to the stage, after going to the stage. We did this great black and white photos on the actual album sleeves themselves. There's a poster in there. The legendary, drum battle that me and Shannon always do is when you open it up, that's the centerpiece. And even the back cover shows us from the band's perspective. They shot it from behind Shannon. So it gives it that, almost that like, that it just felt like all the world's a stage or something like that. It just has that whole essence of like something that you feel will last, the test of time.
Yeah, and I mean, I could talk about live albums forever because for me, it was like, Kiss Alive, UFO, Strangers in the Night, Cheap Trick, Budokan, Deep Purple, Made in Japan. I mean, there's just so many, the 70s especially, just iconic records. Now, let me ask you this. Did you, and I love, it's interesting, Kiss Alive, which is considered one of the landmark live records, later it was revealed that the record was basically done in the studio, but it did capture the live vibe of the band. That record just turned 50, and they put out the actual raw concert. The actual concert, warts and all, the way it was recorded with no touch-ups. And it's amazing. It's like, so I was saying to myself and listening to it, I'm like, I wonder if this came out in 75 if it would have broken the band, because in the case of Kiss Alive it broke and saved the band. Right. But for you guys, did you, because it's very tempting when you put something like this out to go in the studio and start messing with it and re-recording stuff and touching things up. Did you do any of that, or you left it warts and all?
No, we put it in the hands of Dave Fortman. I've produced a couple records with him. We did the Oracle, we did 1,000 Horsepower with him, some singles. We did the Come Together cover with him. And he's always done us right, and I knew that he would take all this information, all this audio that Dan Catullo passed on to him and do a killer job. And we sat and we talked for a while. And he's like, what do you want from this? Like, what are you looking? I said, man, spend some time with Frampton Comes Alive. Like, what I want to translate, I go, I know we don't sound like that. So I want you to kind of, this band, you've been with us forever. I go, I need what we do live on stage to translate through the vinyl, right? More than anything. Like, I don't care about the digital copy, whatever. Like, I want to put the needle on the record and I want this thing to sound really good. But I said, more importantly, I want to give the audience an immersive experience. I want them to feel like they're sitting in the 8th row. When this thing comes on, I want it to be massive. I want to be able to hear the crowd, feel the crowd. Even those little moments during the jams when you do something and the crowd responds, I want it all. I want to know, like, I want to be able to deliver that to my fans and give them that experience that Aerosmith and Rush and Ted Nugent gave me when I was a kid. And I really think he captured it. So yeah, that was but there was no overdubs and anything like that. Nothing.
That's the way to do it. You mentioned earlier Aerosmith Live Bootleg, and I always say that album, in some ways, when you think of the great 70s live records, I think that one really gets overlooked because that's one of my favorites. And one of the reasons why I love that record so much is because it is so raw. I mean, I've talked to those guys about it. I've talked to the guy who produced it, Jack Douglas. It is... all they did was record a bunch of stuff and just took what they thought were the best performances. But right down to the M80s going off on the overheads on Lord of the Thighs. I mean, it puts you in there, man.
Yeah.
And that's the way to do it. It's awesome.
It's exactly right. Yeah, I wanted to just capture as much of that as possible. Luckily, we knew Dan was coming in with a lot of cameras, so our job was just to mic up that arena and make sure that we captured the entire essence of that show, which I'm telling you, as you know, you've probably heard this from other bands too. It's hard sometimes to capture how you translate live onto a recording. When you go to a live show, it's just so powerful, and it's very hard to capture that on a recording. So I'm not saying that it's exactly like it would be if you came to see the band live, because there's so many more elements to that. There's the scent in the air. There's the moment when those lights go down and that electricity that runs through your body, and anticipating the band coming out and what do they look like? What are they wearing? Like, what song are they going to open with? You can't replicate that stuff through a computer or a recording, but we got very close to presenting this and having this translate on vinyl like we know we sound live. We've never been able to capture that yet, and I think we really did a great job on this one. So of course, there's always a bigger, better experience when you get off the couch and you go to an event, UFC fight, football game, concert, whatever it is, right? There's that electricity that goes to the room. But this is a good one, man. If you are home, especially if you've seen the band and the band is one of your favorites and you remember reliving the memory or whatever, this might bring you back to that, hearing the transitions, the little raps to the crowd, the pyro, it's all there.
May 1st, Live at Mohegan Sun is out, so it's not that far away. Everybody's going to get to hear it and see it soon, so looking forward to that. Now, listen, talking about this whole essence of live, that dovetails into the tour that you've announced, which is Rise of Rock, with support from Stone Temple Pilots and Dorothy. And I got to tell you something, man. I've seen some clips of you talking about this tour, and I appreciate so much some of the things that you've been saying, because I have been on a campaign and sending warning shots for about 15 years now about what I feel is the true death of rock and roll. And to me, that is live rock shows not being live anymore. And as a rock fan, I'm not a musician, but as a rock fan, it scares the shit out of me, and it blows my mind how many people are doing it currently on the road, how many people are currently spending their hard-earned money to hear people play and sing that aren't really playing and singing. And to me, it just destroys me. And to me, that's the real concern about the end of the true live rock show. You've made a point with this tour to say, everybody on this bill is playing live, and I respect the hell out of you, because I've been saying I can't be the only one screaming and fighting this fight. People got to start stepping up and caring. So tell me why it was important to you to get that message out there and also bring these two acts out as support.
Well, for one, as you know, STP just has a great catalog, tons of hits. They're real players that play their instruments. They don't run track. And they put on a great show, but it's filled with melody and memories, right? They've been around a long time. And that's what we take pride in as well, playing our instruments, making sure that we deliver. I want to sound better than our records, and we work hard at that. But that's part of that whole 10,000 hour rule, right? And at this point, I don't know, maybe I put in 50,000 hours, but
Sully, it also ties in with what you said earlier about live records, which I appreciate so much. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It shouldn't be perfect. A live show should be flying by the seat of your pants for the band and the audience.
Because it's that one unique moment that you get on that show that may never happen again. And even if a different mistake or a different bad note or something, the band changed the arrangement on the spot or whatever it is, you get that certain unique experience. And people have forgot about how important those in-person life experiences are or whatever. So for me, listen, again, great. These pop bands came out a while ago and they had a good run, and then it just became like the industry's pets. And I mean, how many Grammys can you win? Come on, really? What are we doing now? God, I got 33 Grammys, 103, really?
15 songwriters on a 3-minute song.
Yeah, whatever. You're good, but you're not that good to win all those Grammys. It's some of it's just so staged and crap. And
of course.
I just don't like it. And more importantly, it's been dominating the charts for 20 years or whatever now. And I feel like I felt something shift where rock is on the rise again. And that's why I wanted to title the tour that. But so when I decided on that title, The Rise of Rock, I was like, okay, what's important is that I want true rock fans coming to this show. And so what do I need to do in order to accomplish that? I need to make sure that I put bands on this bill that are raw and true to their art and play their instruments and are solid writers, right? Great songs, great performance, and plays all their instruments. That's the most important thing. So in Dorothy, the act that's opening the whole show, I've been telling people as much as I can. I'm like, listen, again, I'm not trying to sell you anything here, but I'm letting you know, if you're a fan of rock music and you're not there early to be in that seat by 7 to watch what this girl does, you're missing something really fucking special. And so not only, is her band great, but she's a force on stage. She's got a killer voice. They're a vibe, And STP, of course, will come out and they'll play all their hits and their vibe. Like, that's a whole nostalgia thing. Godsmack now has a lot of history behind us, and it's always a big show. So this will be a full night of really good hard rock music, but everyone is different from the other. You're not hearing, 3 Drowning Pools in a row and that whole, the Octane bands or whatever it is, where it's just like every band starts to sound the same after a while. This is like 3 bands within the same wheelhouse, but all have a different essence to it. So it's going to be such a full, complete feeling event that I'm telling people right now, I'm like, you're making a huge mistake if you show up late just to see Godsmack or something like that. You need to be in your seat by 7, and you need to watch all 3 acts, because I'm telling you, you will go home with an incredible memory from this concert.
Yeah, well, I know them all. They're all friends. I've seen them all. I've had Dorothy on a few times. She's amazing. Most
Dorothy
of my audience
loves you.
doesn't know her. Yeah, she's awesome, and I'm rooting for her. She's phenomenal. And also the STP guys. Speaking of real music, one of my favorite shows I saw last year was I went to see the Joe Perry Project in Arizona, and Robert DeLeo was playing bass in that. Yeah. And Chris Robinson was singing, and it was Brad and Joe on guitar. And I remember talking to Robert backstage before the show, and he's like, dude, we haven't rehearsed. It's probably going to be a little loose. Sully, it was one of the best shows I saw. It was so raw and in your face and killer. So it's going to be great.
It's unscripted. It's unchoreographed.
Yes.
It's just what bands did in the day. It's an amplified version of seeing like your buddy's band in the garage where you go and crack a beer and you hang out on the couch and watch them jam, and it's that just like smoky, dingy environment. That kind of performance to me is just an amplified version of that. Like, just strap on the guitar, plug it in, it squeaks, it squeals, tap the mic, okay, let's go, hit the drum beat,
Yeah, well, it's truly a great bill. When I saw it, I lit right up because, first of all, knowing all 3 bands, I'm like, those are 3 real bands really plugging in and playing. And then, like you said, everything's a little different. Dorothy's on the way up. She's certainly building a nice career. STP, you got all that history. They still crush it. Obviously, 3/4 original, sadly, the one member that passed in Weiland, and then you doing your thing. Now, let me ask you this. For this tour, which, again, is starting soon. You've got a run that starts. You got some radio shows. Then you got May 10th. The official tour starts, Virginia. Then you go to Europe, and then you come back. You do Rocklahoma, which I host. I see you at all the time. September 4, and then another U.S. run off of that, September 26. So you're out there for a while, and you're jumping over to Europe in between the 2 U.S. runs, right?
Yes. Yep.
And the band you're going to have, because as you mentioned, Tony and Shannon are gone, but Sam Bam Colton, who was Dorothy's guitar player, I know you used, and is also a friend, played in Godsmack on the last run. So who is going to be in Godsmack this time around besides yourself, of course?
So Sam's on board now full time, and he's going to be the new player from this point forward. And the drummer that we chose, his name is Wade Murph. He's worked with Daughtry and some other acts. Fairly, under the radar kind of guy, strong player, great dude, really good with attention to details as Sam is. And and I have complete confidence in this. Although we start rehearsals next week, I'm just really confident that this is going to be, just as good, if not better than ever, because, these guys came in with the right attitude. They honored the catalog. They honored the playing. They didn't try to reinvent it, and as you know, a guitar can sound like a guitar, a drum can sound like a drum. Until you replace the vocalist, that's when the sound really changes. So I really feel that the fans will be able to come and enjoy the music as they have always known it, because it won't sound foreign to them like there's a new singer singing Godsmack stuff, and for that reason, and plus their showmanship even elevates it a little bit more. I mean, Shannon's hard to replace. He's the GOAT. He's like, if you see that dude play, he's a tough cookie to replicate or replace live visually. But this guy Wade, he's strong. He's got some great chops, and he's really playing the stuff solid. And I'm very happy to take them on tour and introduce them. And this is going to start the next chapter in our life here at Godsmack 2.0.
Well, again, you've got, I think, a couple festival dates, and then you kick off officially May 10th with that run, and then again over to Europe, and then Rocklahoma, and then off of that another run in September. So everybody listening around the country, check your listings, as they say, see where this is rolling near you, and be sure to get out there and check it out, because it's a killer bill.
Thank you. I got to tell you too, my significant other is a big fan of yours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should meet her. Can she say hi to you? Because she's really a fan.
Of course.
You should say hi to Eddie. Why? He wants to say hi to you.
Somebody's hiding?
No, come here and say hi. Just say hi.
Is it Dorothy? Who is that?
Hi.
It's
How are
Dorothy.
you? Yes.
Hey, you.
It's me. Scott.
Hey, you know what's funny? We talked about doing this, didn't we? The two of us together?
Did you just announce our relationship?
Come on.
It happened.
I think you just wait. Am I having a TMZ moment right now?
TMZ moment
right now.
Oh my God, here it comes.
Chat log, why are you putting me on Zoom?
You want to say hi to Eddie? You said you loved him.
I love you. I miss you. How are you?
I just told Sully how much I loved you, and then you're in the other room.
He's awesome. Awesome.
Wait a minute. Can we talk about what you guys are doing together besides the obvious? Can we talk about musically?
Yes.
You have to be in with me. If I'm on camera, you're on camera. Yes.
You did a song together, right?
Me. Yeah, we just finished the collab. It's actually really good. It's a banger. It's coming out soon. It's called Set Me Free.
Like it.
Yeah.
So what is it called? What can you say about it?
It's called Set Me Free. And
all right.
I think, me and her connected originally because we both went through some history and with bad relationships and some, a lot of people kind of go through these things, but we have the opportunity to kind of voice it and vent it through our art. And so we both kind of had gone through a similar situation that just felt really like appropriate to kind of write about it and set it free. And the song became obvious. And it's just a down and dirty, good hard rock song. And it's not a ballad. It's nothing sappy. It's actually the opposite. It's a big, like,
it's got a nice fat riff.
It's a big fuck yo.
Okay.
Hey, Dorothy, what happened? How did Sully end up with Sam Bam and you had to give him up? What happened?
Ask Sam. It's all good, actually. Nick Perry, my old guitar player, is playing for us, and then
I know Nick.
It's all worked out. It's all like one big happy family, so it's fine.
Now, are you going to go to another room, and is Robert or Dean from STP going to be in there?
Yeah.
Out of the closet.
I got the singer Jeff on the piano over there. Let me go grab him.
Well, this is awesome. I appreciate you with this big reveal on Trunk Nation. Who knew?
You got the exclusive.
Oh,
I'm calling Harvey Levin right now at TMZ to get the word out.
I told you, ready? I thought it was Let's Fucking Go.
I love this man. He's such a good, solid man. I feel safe with him. And we had a wonderful friendship for months and months. I've never laughed so much in my life. My face hurts. Goodbye.
All right. Well, nice to see you. And I look forward to the shows for sure. All right, Sully. So and thank you for that. One last thing before I let you go that I wanted to ask you about. You had said, I guess it was like a year or two ago, if I recall, that you were going to back off of making new music, I believe. You said you didn't feel like you wanted to make records anymore.
I think some press misunderstood that. What I had said was, if I remember correctly, I don't know, maybe I was a little foggy at the time, but I just said that I was pretty sure that this would be the last full body of work from Godsmack from the original members, that we wouldn't be able to do this anymore because these guys were going to kind of like, you know, take their final curtain call and bow out. And I knew that this was most likely going to be the last full body of work from the original members. So, but now here we are, me and Robbie had a long talk. We were like, well, we had a decision to make, and we said, well, still got some gas in the tank here. I don't really want to hang it up yet. And he's like, let's go around. And so we brought in these new guys, and it's sounding great. So we're like, yeah, there's probably going to be some new music coming. I mean, it may not hit the streets till early 27, but we're going to do something for sure. But it just won't be with all the original members anymore.
Yeah, and I knew you being the songwriter that you are. I mean, that's a muscle you're always going to want to exercise too, whether it's with solo stuff or Godsmack, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll always write music. Even if I don't tour anymore, even if I never made another record again, I am always going to write music. I may write and produce and arrange for other artists. I might just do stuff for solo, collabs, things like that. Like, music's in my blood. I'm not giving up music, but there'll be a time and place where I'll just be like, well, maybe it's, and we'll see how this goes. Listen, me and Robbie even said, hey, if this, we go out there and this just isn't feeling good anymore because it's not our brothers and it's a bit foreign feeling, then, we made a decision, just like we did when we started this band, to say, hey, you know what? We had a good run, give each other a big hug. Neil Peart himself told me nothing great lasts forever. And that's kind of how I feel. And so when that day comes, we'll give each other a big hug and we'll call it a good run and we'll step away from it. But right now, I don't think that's happening. This band sounds better than ever. We have, two new guys that are breathing some new life into the energy in this band. And for sure, some new music's going to come eventually. We're going to be doing a bunch of touring. And then we'll see how it goes, how it feels.
Yeah, it feels kind of like you're reinvigorated to me on a lot of fronts, so that's really cool. I'm happy for you, man.
Yeah.
And again, everybody check out Live at Mohegan Sun, video and audio out on May 1st. And again, the tour starting with, I guess it's a couple of the Wimmer festivals that start, right? You got one of the Wimmer festivals that gets it going.
Yeah.
And then
Welcome to Rockville. May 7th is Welcome to Rockville. That's where it all starts. I think Guns is they're headlining that one. We go on before Guns. And then after that, we're headlining the rest. And so, yeah, it's Dorothy, STP, and us for that run. And they'll be with us all year except for Europe.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, always good catching up with you. And anything you need, you know where to get me. And looking forward to catching some of these shows. I'm in Vegas. I know you got a headline date here. I'll definitely be at Rocklahoma, so we'll definitely have to hang soon. And my best to Dorothy. And if you got the DeLeo brothers locked up in the other room, make sure you say hi.
I sure will. Eddie, it's always a pleasure, man. We'll talk soon, brother. Thank you so much.
You too, man. All right, Sully. I'll see you. Bye-bye. See ya. There's Sully Erna of Godsmack, everybody, joining us on Drunk Nation. That was a total TMZ reveal right there, you guys. So if you didn't know, you now know that Sully and Dorothy are an item. They have been collaborating in more ways than one. And I kind of suspected that, but again, as you guys know, and I say all the time, I don't go down the gossip roads, and I don't, I'm happy for people, whatever their situation may or may be not be, but I don't pry in those areas. I don't honestly. People are happy. That's all that matters to me. I don't go into those zones. It doesn't really, not really anything I've ever really been all that interested in the gossipy, relationshipy world. But when Sully, I've known Sully a long time, and I've known Dorothy now for a little bit, and they both text me. And they both text me individually, And so, Dorothy had texted me more than once in the last few months about coming on the air to promote this tour. And I said to her, well, we should try to do it with Sully and maybe get an STP guy and have somebody from all three bands. And she said, yeah, that would be a good idea. And then she told me, you can't say anything yet, but I'm doing a song with Sully. And they were doing it in, I believe, California. And I said, oh, okay. She goes, but don't say anything. When it's ready, we'll let you know. So then I started just putting two and two together, and I'm like, I wonder if they're like, a little bit of an item. But again, I don't ask that stuff. It's not my place. I don't get into that. So just so you guys know, because you just heard that, you obviously didn't see it, but you will see it because we did that on Zoom. So when I put the video out, you will see exactly what happened, because Sully is talking to me during that whole interview. We're talking about STP. We're talking about Dorothy. And he then got up with his camera or his phone, whatever he was on, and he says, hold on a minute. And he goes in another room and he sticks the camera on Dorothy. And there she is in his house. So, and she even said something like, wait a minute, are we announcing this now? Because apparently they have been in a relationship, but they have not revealed it publicly until literally a couple minutes ago right here on Trunk Nation. So that's why I suspected, but I did not know until that moment for sure. So that's why I was joking, saying we just had a TMZ moment, at least a rock TMZ moment, that we now have a tour going out with Dorothy and Godsmack. We've just learned a song coming with Dorothy and Sully or Godsmack, and they have just went public with their relationship together right here on this radio show today. You never know what the hell's going to happen on Trunk Nation. You never know what will be revealed on our daily live get-together. So thank you to Sully, and thank you to Dorothy for that exclusive and for them jumping on together and saying hello. And we'll do something, I'm going to reach out to the STP camp, because we should get Robert or Dean on at some point. Talk about this tour. They have their own headline dates. STP is playing a headline show. It's interesting. Godsmack and Dorothy are playing here in Vegas on this tour at Planet Hollywood. STP is not on that particular date, but STP are playing their own headline show in July at a resort right near my house called the M. It's an outdoor pool stage. And I've seen a couple shows there. I saw Train there and I saw Daughtry there. And it's a great spot. So I'm looking forward to seeing STP there. But they're not on that Vegas date for whatever reason. They're doing their own headline show. So STP has their own stuff going on in addition to all the dates on this tour. So we'll definitely get one of the brothers on, or both of them, or whoever wants to do it. We'll do something with them soon as well in advance of this. Good stuff. Hope you enjoyed it. And again, we did capture video of that entire conversation. Usually in somewhere about a week to 2 weeks, we'll put that out for you on the YouTube channel, which is just simply at Eddie Trunk. If you missed any of the audio, you know the deal. Grab it anytime on the SiriusXM app. All right, so let's take a break. When we come back, tomorrow is Friday, Free For All Friday, as usual. All you on the phones. It's always busy on Fridays. So if you want to get in with anything, get a jump on Free For All Friday, we will do that right after this break and go to open phones, 844-686-5863. Between all the stuff from the cruises and all the guests we had there, obviously getting back into being live yesterday, just wrapped up a big interview. Haven't had a lot of time to get you guys involved in the show and get you on the air, and we're going to do that right now. So again, open phones, 844-686-5863. Trunk Nation starting free-for-all mode a bit early for the rest of the week, right after this.
Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight, man. We appreciate you.
Urban View. We're talking powers.
It becomes action.
Urban View. Where black voices are prioritized in media.
Now you know. Urban View.
The undeniable force of truth.
Tell the whole world.
Hold on, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it like this. Okay.
Ready? Set. What you got?
Education, unfiltered conversation.
Minority businesses, free and fair information, empowering Americans.
Urban View.
We're talking powers.
It becomes action.
SiriusXM 126 and SiriusXM app.
If watching TV has gotten way too complicated for you, then here's some good news. You can say goodbye to a million different subscriptions, wasting money and endless searching for something to watch. And say hello to Philo, a better way to TV. Philo's the only streaming service that keeps you in mind, making TV easy and affordable without sacrificing quality or the channels you love. With Philo, there's a package that's right for you. Whether you're looking for the best live TV on more than 70 channels, with a huge library of movies and shows, and an unlimited DVR, or you're looking to upgrade your experience with Philo's bundle, unlocking access to even more blockbuster films on top-rated shows on HBO Max Basic with ads, AMC Plus, and Discovery Plus. Whatever you choose, with Philo, you're getting great TV for an even better price. Find out more at philo.tv. That's PHILO.tv. Subscriptions auto-renew. Cancel anytime. See philo.tv for more.
Looking for a little extra fun? Chumba Casino lets you play for free with daily login rewards and a cheeky little welcome bonus when you sign up. Explore hundreds of online social casino games and jump in whenever it works for you. No routines, no pressure, just entertainment on your terms. That's Chumba.
Only available in permitted states. No purchase necessary. See terms and conditions for details. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21+.
Are you in a 1031 exchange? Let us make the investment process simple and profitable with returns starting at 8% and targeted appreciation over 25%. SEMA Investment Group has a 1031 offering available right now. An 86-unit opportunity in Dallas, Texas, ranked the #1 real estate market in the country 5 years running. Rather than accepting a tax hit or going with a fee-heavy DST, invest with us and enjoy 8% cash flow starting month 1. Call 888-208-1031. That's 888-208-1031. Our principals have over 40 years of experience and specialize in helping investors save on taxes and enjoy consistent passive cash flow. If you're in your 45-day window, don't wait. Call SEMA Investment Group today at 888-208-1031. That's 888-208-1031. Or visit SEMAinvest.com. That's CIMAinvest.com to learn more and review all disclosures.
Investments are speculative, illiquid, and involve risk. Past performance and projections are not guarantees of future results for accredited investors only.
Let's be honest, you love your dog more than most humans. So why are they home alone all day binge sleeping like a teenager? Send them to Dogtopia, the world's largest daycare. Dogtopia dogs get serious exercise, averaging 8 miles a day. That's 70,000 steps. That beats laying around at home staring at squirrels through the window. They make new friends and can even sleep overnight. And you can watch them on our live webcams like the helicopter parent you are. Visit Dogtopia.com to find a location or explore franchising. Dogtopia, because your dog deserves a social life too.
And now more hard and heavy conversation.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, you could do that. That's something you can do. With host Eddie Trunk.
Hell yeah, Eddie Trunk, man.
SiriusXM Faction Talk.
It's amazing.
All right, we are back and we are live here on a Thursday here on Trunk Nation. And we are talking rock with you. And we're going to get to the phones here in a second. Again, 844-686-5863. We have open lines, so jump in if there's something you want to talk about in rock music. Just before the interview, we had a call about Triumph, who had officially kicked off their tour in Canada last night. And I had to cut that caller a little short because we had to get to our interview. But if you've got reports from seeing Triumph, who have now done 3 shows, I believe, on this reunion, love to hear about that because, again, there was a lot of interest in this leading into it. And it is also something that the band themselves have questioned how effectively they were going to be able to do it. So I'm curious to see if people have seen that show, what their thoughts are. And we did get a take on that a little bit earlier. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that tour as it now is up and running and rolls out. I've said before, interesting, one of the two huge Canadian trios that are going out on tour again in 2026. Triumph is now out there in a reconfigured way with 3 additional members. We also now see that of 3 shows, we've been unsure how much Mike Levine was going to be able to do. Well, now we know he is 0 for 3 on the first 3 shows yet to appear with the band. It'll be interesting to see in the course of this whole Triumph reunion, will there be a moment, will there be a show where just the 3 original guys are on that stage, even for just a song again? Don't know if they're up for that. I don't know if they're able to, but it would be really cool if before this wraps up, we were able to have that moment. And of course, the other big one that's going to go out is Rush. And we know that is now creeping closer and closer. I've reached out to the Rush camp about coming on the show. I have not heard anything back yet. As you know, we had Alex Lifeson on several times to promote his latest project. They've been very selective, if you will, about where they're doing interviews and what they're doing. They have not done anything yet at all for anyone on SiriusXM. So hopefully that will change before the tour actually starts, because they're old friends. I'd love to talk to Getty and Alex about what's going on with this whole thing and get some additional thoughts. So hopefully that will happen. We'll see. And also, just taking a quick deviation from the music world, today's a huge day if you're a football fan. The NFL draft in a few hours. Joel and I, as Giants fans, extremely excited to see what happens tonight with the Giants with 2 picks now in the top 10. So today is the kind of day where you feel like football season's starting to get a little closer again. And it's the day where everybody has optimism and hope that by the end of the weekend, you've got some good young players and some good picks that are going to help turn your team around. I know the local team here where I'm sitting in Vegas, the Raiders, are very much looking forward to that too, with the number 1 pick expecting to take Fernando Mendoza and finally have a quarterback. Although I think the Raiders signed Kirk Cousins, didn't they? Did they give Kirk Cousins like an enormous 3-year deal? Joel, did you hear that? They signed Kirk Cousins, didn't they?
I don't know.
I think they did. Check that. I think they did.
Yeah, I'm reading. I just pulled it up. I'm getting some headlines here.
Not today. I mean, this happened a little while ago.
Yeah. No, I mean, some of the headlines that came up, inside the Kirk Cousins deals with the Raiders a week ago. So
yeah, for a ton of money, like Kirk Cousins, who's had some good years, Vikings, whatever. He is. I read something somewhere like he's made like the most like insane money in the nature of his deals.
Wow. Wait till you hear this, what it's being described as. 5 years, $172 million. And they're going to draft a quarterback number 1 overall.
For the Raiders.
Yeah.
So the Raiders signed him to a 5-year contract, $172 million. And he's not even the long-term starting quarterback. Like by year 2, there's no way he's starting unless Mendoza is a total bust. I mean, that's crazy. I gotta text my buddy Mark Davis. Ask him if he's got a couple. You got an extra $100 million, Mark, laying around for me, maybe, buddy?
Oh God! And the back end of this deal is insane. Like if they go through with this, like we get to 2027 and they still have him on the roster by the 5th day of the league year, he's getting $78 million in 2028 guaranteed. If they still have him on the team, it's not guaranteed, but his base salary for 2029 and 2030 is $40 million. Dude barely plays. Unless
Mendoza is a massive bust, there's no way he's still on the team. So the contract is that loaded, but clearly they have an out after probably a year or two to get out of that money. That's the only thing that makes sense. Because they want to groom the kid. They don't want to put him right.
It's like $1.5 million in the first year, then $10 million in the second year, so that they really got him, and then like $1.25 million the third year, and then all the other, all the big money's on the back end.
Although if I'm the Raiders, who were worse than the Giants last year, then why not throw the kid to the Wolves and let him start day one? I mean, most number one picks do that. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't even have done that. Just have a veteran backup that you're not paying that kind of money to. I don't know. It's crazy the money Kirk Cousins has made. I mean, overall, he's above average quarterback. He's not Patrick Mahomes or whatever, Tom Brady. But my God, it's the money that gets thrown around out there is unreal. Good on them, man. Good on them. And there's a bunch of college kids that are about to get way, way, way rich in a few hours when their name is called today by the commissioner in the draft. And I don't know. Joel and I were talking off the air. Neither of us follow the college game. So we just know what we hear from the analysts and stuff and what they should get and who the Giants should take. Sonny Styles, he should take this guy. I mean, I just know the positions, know what the analysts are saying. I don't watch college football. I know it's huge. I just don't. I just never was my thing. So I just rely on what the TV talking heads tell me if it's smart or not, and I know the areas of need. So I'm very, very interested. I was up last night listening to podcasts, breaking this down, just trying to get some education. Should be fun. And, of course, don't forget, bringing in the music element to this, Bret Michaels, who we had on the show a couple weeks ago, is playing at the NFL draft tomorrow. He's not playing today. He's playing tomorrow. The draft is in Pittsburgh. What's the weather like there, Joel? In your area, it's probably similar to Pittsburgh in New York. What's the weather?
So. It's all over the place. Like it's 75 today, but tomorrow it's like wet and 50. It's all over the place. So who knows what we're getting?
Yeah, well, hopefully they have decent weather there in Pittsburgh for the draft. I mean, they did it in Green Bay, I think, last year, and I think it was still fairly cold there. Here in Vegas, it's been unbelievable. It's like 75 and breezy every day, sunny. It's been unbelievable. This is just the calm before we start roasting here in about a month or so, but all good. All right, well, if you just joined us, you missed Sully Erna, who was just on with us minutes ago, revealed that he has done a duet with Dorothy and revealed that he is dating Dorothy for the first time. Obviously, Stone Temple Pilots on that. We talked live records. Great stuff with Sully, again, on the app. We'll get that video out for you at some point a little bit further down the line. Also, as I mentioned, Monday is the 27th of April. It would have been Ace Frehley's birthday. It is the first birthday he is not with us, obviously, any longer. Everybody knows how important Ace was to me and my relationship and friendship with him, and how important Ace was to just about any rock fan. So we are going to celebrate Ace on Monday. Your calls about Ace, your Ace stories, you want stories from me, questions, discussions, favorite songs, favorite solos, just an Ace celebration day on what would have been his birthday this coming Monday, April 27th. As promised, we're going to dedicate that show to him, and we will absolutely do that. And then we'll see what happens as we get more into the week with some other guests possibly hovering. I'll let you know more as we get closer, or as things get confirmed. We have Phil Mogg next week, I think, don't we? Or is that the week after, Joel?
Yeah, it's next week. We've got him on Thursday next week.
So that's obviously huge for me. Massive UFO fan, as you know. Phil Mogg is joining us, on Thursday's show. There's a reissue of The Wild, Willing, and Innocent, which is a phenomenal UFO album from the Paul Chapman era that he'll be calling in to talk about. But I'm going to beat him up on trying to get another UFO show. We even talked some UFO with Steve Harris when he was on with us a couple weeks ago from the Monsters Cruise. All right, so again, your calls the rest of the way. 844-686-5863. Free for All Friday officially begins on Thursday with the remainder of this show and segues into tomorrow. Our first call, technically second call of the show today, is John in Chicago. Hey, John, welcome. What's going on? Hey, John, you there? Yo, John. Put John on hold, see if he comes back to us. Let's go to Ben, who's in New Mexico. Hi, Ben.
Hey, Trunk. While you were out gallivanting all over the Caribbean, there was a lot of news about Iron Maiden and the Hall of Fame over the last couple of weeks, and including also Blaze Bayley getting in, which I support. I went back and I watched a couple of concerts, and I would say, obviously, he's no Bruce Dickinson, but he's a pretty damn good vocalist, and had he come in after Paul Di'Anno, I think he would have been accepted. But the real reason for my call is I do think there's been a glaring error in the Iron Maiden, the crew that's going to be entered into the Hall of Fame. Eddie, there's no argument that Eddie should be included. Eddie the Monster, or the whatever we want to call him. He's
Mascot.
on every single Iron Maiden concert, every album cover, millions of T-shirts. It's the highlight of so many shows. And if he's not a part of the band, well, hell. Not only that, we talk about things like inspiration. I remember Y&T had a big robot thing that would come out.
Yeah.
I think all other bands have done similar things. It sure as heck has been an influence, and it's a huge part of Iron Maiden. Probably the most recognizable.
Yeah, Ben, I don't have a problem with anything you're saying. I don't disagree. I don't think that a mascot has ever been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but you make a very interesting argument. I don't think the Hall of Fame, who let's be honest, took way, 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 way too long to even recognize Iron Maiden. I don't think, and thank you, Ben, for the call. I don't think the Hall of Fame would do that. But I do think that if however Maiden chooses to accept their Hall of Fame induction, more than one person brought up to me, the best thing to do would be to have Eddie go out there and accept it. Now, Eddie, as we know, does not speak. But somebody said to me, just have somebody in the Eddie head go out there, take the trophy off the podium, walk away. That would be the best. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of questions about the whole Maiden thing now. Because we know that they are now being inducted. We know that they want no parts of it. And we know they are not showing up. They've already announced that. They have an out because they are playing in Australia at the time of the induction ceremony. And the reason why I say they have an out is because if they weren't on tour, you know they don't want to be there. You know they want nothing to do with the thing. So they would be in a tough position because they'd have no excuse as to why they weren't going to be there beyond the fact that they just don't care about it. But and I'm not saying they booked a show intentionally because of it, but I'm just saying the timing has worked out greatly to their favor because now they have a very convenient out. The minute Iron Maiden was announced for induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I said, I doubt they show up. And they would never cancel a show. If they had a concert, the induction's what, in LA? If they had a concert in LA across the street that night, I don't think they were showing up. But to have a concert on the other side of the world it worked out brilliantly for them. That's their built-in reason for not going. You guys, there's only so much I can tell you, but trust me when I tell you this is something they don't even want to talk about. And, you know, I did talk to Steve Harris a little bit about it on the cruise privately, and because it was private, I'll leave it at that. But I think all along, reading the tea leaves here, this is something that is not important to them and is not of interest to them. They've put out a nice statement, and I think that's the last you're going to hear about them at all with the Hall of Fame. Now, all that being said, they're still going to get inducted. There's still going to be something that happens on that night to commemorate the induction. And you have now 3 members, because as Ben accurately pointed out, we were all over this, and I was all over this on this show, about I was screaming forever about the snub of Blaze Bayley. And then mysteriously, a couple weeks before they announced Maiden's induction, Blaze Bayley was added, which was the right thing to do. And then they get in. And there's a theory that Maiden went to bat for Blaze, who, if you heard the interview I did with Steve a couple weeks ago, he talked about Blaze, and that there are 3 people, well, 4 if you count Clive Burr, but Clive Burr is no longer alive. So there are 4 people that are part of the Iron Maiden induction who are not currently in the band. Nico McBrain, Dennis Stratton, Blaze Bayley, Clive Burr. So you could have a scenario. I mean, if these guys want to go to the induction, I'm sure they can go, but you could have a scenario where representing Iron Maiden on stage are those 3 guys and maybe somebody, I don't know if Clive Burr had a kid or a wife or something, representing Clive Burr. Which some people said was why Blaze got added too, because at least there was a singer from Iron Maiden that will be on the stage. I don't know. I told you I would expect an all-star metal band doing some, version of Run to the Hills. And to Ben's point, I think it would be great if they had an Eddie mascot just come out, grab the award, and walk off. I don't think the Hall of Fame would ever recognize Eddie. They've never recognized a mascot to my knowledge, but I don't think it's a crazy idea. I think Ben's points are well spoken or are true. I also don't think, though, I don't agree with Ben when he says that Blaze would have maybe been, if he was the right singer, could have been looked at differently if he came in after Di'Anno or whatever he said. By the way, the other one is Paul Di'Anno. I'm sorry. Paul Di'Anno also, of course, being inducted, but is not alive. So you could have Nico, Dennis Stratton, Blaze Bayley, and somebody representing Clive and Paul. So you could have 5 people on the stage, all had something to do with Maiden, all going in, but none of them actively currently in the band. But I just don't think Blaze Bayley, and I'm glad, and it was the right thing to do to include him. I don't think Blaze Bayley was the right voice for that band, no matter what the timing would be. Just my personal opinion. And one last thing on this, and I brought this up before, and I just got a text from this guy a minute ago, unrelated to all of this, but he's here in Vegas. I might see him later. I've talked about what a travesty it is that Dio wasn't included with Sabbath. Especially now when you see Blaze going in with Maiden. And Dio, who made classic albums with Sabbath, was not included? That is fucking disgraceful. And blame whoever you want, but it's disgraceful. But again, there is a direct parallel to the Blaze Bayley Maiden situation with Tim Ripper Owens and Priest. Same exact amount of records made, same exact scenario, same exact response and reaction to the records, although I think the two albums Ripper did with Priest are way more highly regarded than the two records Maiden did with Blaze. There's a lot of people especially like Jugulator. So here again is another glaring issue with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. How on earth are you honoring Blaze Bayley, which again is the right thing to do, but you did not include Dio with Sabbath and you did not include Ripper with Priest? Mind-boggling. Right there in black and white is another glaring example of the myriad of issues with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm told John in Chicago is back. Let's try him now. Hi, John.
Hey, Eddie. Long time, first time. How are you?
Welcome. Thank you. Good.
All right, man. Hey, last weekend I saw Alice Cooper in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Awesome. He was killer. Fucking great band. The band was killer. But I was a little disappointed. They only played about an hour. I couldn't believe it. Came back on for an encore about an hour and 10 in, and then they played Teen Spirit by Nirvana as an encore. I thought that was kind of weird. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, who else was on the bill?
Nobody. They were
Just
the only. It was the only band.
Was it a casino?
No. It was
So
a
the
standalone
total-
theater.
So then the total length of the show was like an hour 10?
Yes.
And one of the songs was a Nirvana cover?
And that was the encore. The last song of the night was Teen Spirit by Nirvana. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it was a little disappointing. But, I mean, the band was great. I can't complain about the rest of the show. Was awesome. I wish he would play more, and I wish he played more songs. But, yeah, it was a little disappointing.
How was the new female guitar player? I don't know. I forget her name.
She was great. She's not Nita Strauss, but she was great. You know, you could tell she's young and new. You know, I mean, her chops were great. They had a nice little solo for her in the middle of the show with all the other guys, and it was fantastic. She did a great job. But, you know, but that was my only complaint, though, is it was over way too fast. I was just getting into it, and I was just starting to have a great time, and then all of a sudden it was over. It was crazy.
Well, the only thing that I can think of is, hopefully it's not the case, that somebody might have been sick or something in the band or whatever. I don't know. It doesn't sound like that was the case, John, and thank you for the call. It could be, look, I mean, Alice is getting up there. I mean, Alice is what, 78, 79? I don't think he's 80 yet, but he's up there. You do see some acts, even he is 78. You see some acts even significantly younger than Alice Cooper playing shorter sets. Now, a lot of that is because that's why I asked if there was other bands on the bill, because sometimes it's a 3-band bill. You only have so much time. But it could just be, you know, they're trying to save them as best they can and stretch it as best they can. I mean, when you got a catalog as deep as Alice's, you want to at least get 90 minutes. Again, you understand it's a man in his late 70s, and you're paying for a headline show, and look, them closing with a Nirvana cover is an exact example of exactly what I was talking about when I touched off a little bit of a firestorm a few weeks ago when I said I don't get why bands with deep catalogs and tons of songs play covers live. Of course, and you remember that just a few weeks ago, everybody weighed in. from Dee Snider to Duff, and of course the internet twisted it into something it wasn't even intended to be. Context was lost. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. Why, if you've got like 100 and 300, hundreds, probably got 400 songs. I mean, do that in Hollywood Vampires. Don't do that in, I mean, I love Alice. You know, hard for me to be critical of anything with Alice because I love them, but that just doesn't make sense to me. You got so many of your own amazing songs, so many eras. I guarantee you just about anybody in that audience would rather have heard an Alice Cooper song, especially if it's a short set. But I've seen that happen. You know, Bret Michaels plays short headline sets. I went to a Black Crowes show here in Vegas a couple weeks ago. It was about 70 minutes. I went backstage, said, "What, you guys got a plane to catch?" They usually do at least 90. And then you've got the other side of the spectrum. You know, Guns N' Roses still doing, I mean, they were doing 3+. They're down to about 2.5 now. I think, to me, I always feel like the sweet spot is between 90 and 100 minutes or so. 2 hours max. For me, no matter who it is, 2 hours max. But, you know, nobody's going to complain at 90, 95. And the other reason why I asked if it was in a casino is because casinos want short shows. Casinos don't want opening acts because casinos want people out in the casino as quickly as possible spending money and gambling. That's where they make the money, not on the concert. Here is Jean-Marie in Montreal. Hi, Jean-Marie. Hey.
All right, I got 3 subjects that maybe you want to touch on, maybe answer. First would be, well, the NBEE category, because I actually myself call it Now That Pantera Is Back category. Is when bands actually continue with members, you know, but key members are gone, like just dead, and they carry on. Like Children of Bodom just announced they're going to keep going, and all these other bands do that every other week. So there's that. There's
Jean-Marie, Jean-Marie, to your point, there is a tour going out in America this summer. Leonard Skinner and Foreigner, a co-headlining tour. And to my knowledge, it'll be the first time there is a major amphitheater tour with 2 co-headlining acts with not one original member in either band.
Oh, that one's great.
Yeah.
There will be also, I want to out a band. Well, I don't want to out like negative, but Wolfgang is about to be surprised with Bush because they do run some tracks on there. I saw them in Laval a year ago with Rival Sons, with Jay killing the mic, and then you have Gavin coming in with a few tracks here and there. Not all the time, but he was like walking around the arena, going upstairs, and his voice is just like on the record. It was just ridiculous. But
I don't know. I don't know about that one. I've seen Bush a lot of times, and and Gavin is in tremendous shape. Still looks great. Still sounds great. I don't know if I can't say that's the case on that one personally, but I'd be very surprised about that because from what I've seen of Bush, they are pretty live and real and raw. And Gavin is a freak. I mean, the guy still looks the same and still sings really well. I've stood in the wings of the stage and not picked up on that, but not really sure.
But it's other modern songs, though. But, yeah, I know you said something about earlier, the X Factor. A lot of fans would say the X Factor is well received nowadays compared to Jugulator. So there's that point.
Yeah, well, Maiden has definitely stood behind the Blaze records. They've totally I mean, they to the point that, you know, Steve Harris just talked about it. I mean, they're going to put Blaze Bailey's band on this Edfest in England. So they, especially Steve, stands behind those records, but they were not commercially successful. I don't personally like them. It's not all Blaze. It was a tough time for the band, but yeah, I mean, there are certainly, I'm sure, some people that like those 2 Blaze records, just like there's people that like Demolition and Jugulator.
And to close off with Godsmack today, it would have been great if they added some of that live vibe and tour they did with the members before they left, because it was an acoustic or maybe metalcore show. That would have been great, but I guess they maybe did not record it. It would have been good, but
yeah. Well, there's more that thank you, Jean-Marie. Appreciate it. Checking in from Montreal. Certainly more we could have talked to Sully about, how to let him get back to his day there, but I appreciate him joining us, and maybe we'll do more. Maybe when the tour comes through Vegas, even. Maybe we'll grab him and bring him out to the studio or whatever. But anyway, appreciate some time with him. If you missed the interview with Sully Erna from Godsmack earlier, with a cameo from Dorothy, where they had their coming out as a couple on this show a little while ago. You can hear it on the SiriusXM app, and you will be able to watch it when we post it on YouTube, the video of it, which we captured as well. So thanks to Sully and thanks to Dorothy. Thanks to you guys for listening, of course, most importantly, and we will be back tomorrow. As usual, it's a Friday. It'll be a free-for-all Friday. It'll be nothing but your calls to close out what's been a crazy busy couple of weeks. We'll talk to you then.